Breaking news to tell you about right now. The death toll as it relates to Irma is now at 12. A dozen people have died so far in the state of Florida. Lori, that number is up from 7 from earlier, bringing the entire total of people who have died from Irma to 55.
Oh, we hate to report that to you, and we don't want to see any more incidental deaths after the storm, so take it easy out there in this heat, be safe on the roads, and let's just hope for power back soon. As we now know, 12 people have died across the state of Florida alone from Hurricane Irma. And
number is up from 7, a total number of 55. Let's check in out with our Jeff Wines here at the hospitals and see how they're holding up after Irma. Jeff?
Calvin, Laura, you would really not believe what is going on in this building behind me. We were outside the ER at Memorial Regional. There is not an empty seat, and they added extra seats in the waiting room in the ER. It is standing room only. I want to take you to some video. They've actually set up a triage area at the entrance because they are seeing so many people. They are sending people who don't have major injuries across the street to an urgent care center. But as you can imagine, they are seeing the post-storm injuries, the falls, the cuts as people take down their shutters. And as Todd mentioned earlier, car accidents. They are seeing a lot of injuries from car accidents as people do not treat those lights that are out as a four-way stop. We spoke to the Director of Trauma Services to the Emergency Department just a few minutes ago, and here is what Randy Katz had to say.
We're seeing a tremendous number of people come through the front door, mostly the most prone elderly patients that are, prone to, heat exhaustion, that need oxygen. Dialysis patients in particular have been a big issue. And a lot of the nursing homes are out of power and don't have electricity, don't have air conditioning. So we've seen patients with temperatures up to 105, 106 degrees from nursing homes come in today. Our biggest issue is the well-being of the staff. Most of our staff have homes and things at home that they need to take care of, so they're trying to take care of patients at the same time trying to take care of their families and their houses. So that's been the biggest challenge, is keeping everybody going.
And let's face it right now, if you have a runny nose, if you have a toothache, if you don't have a major problem, it is not the time right now to use any emergency room as your primary care. Again, they are sending many of the people who have minor cuts across the street to an urgent care center. Memorial Regional also has, with technology the way it is, a website set up. You don't even have to come to the emergency room if you have minor symptoms. You can simply go to memorialdoc.now.com. That's memorialdoc.now.com, and you will have access online to a doctor. Things so bad that Memorial Pembroke had to go on bypass. They were bringing patients from Memorial Pembroke out in Pembroke Pines here to Memorial Regional. You can hear sirens from another rescue squad coming in. They are continuing to come in. There was one from Davie earlier, one from Hallandale Beach, from Hollywood. So the emergency room is packed. Only come here if you have a serious injury, and they expect it to be like this until at least Friday. Calvin, Lori.
But Jeff, how are they powered? Because we know down at Mercy Hospital in the Grove, I mean, they've been running on generator all this time. How is the whole Memorial system doing power-wise?
Memorial system power-wise is doing absolutely fine. They did not have any problems at any of the hospitals. They have a very good relationship with the power company. The grids here are not old wooden power poles. They are concrete. They shored up this system around the hospitals very recently. They do have backup generators if some of the power, sometimes it doesn't go out all the way, but you see the lights dim. They have major generators here. We have not had a problem. There was an earlier tweet that went out, I think 2 days ago, that Hialeah Hospital only had 2 hours of generator gas left. That was not the case. Dr. Katz told us, even with his staff, they prepare. These hospitals are prepared. They know what is going to happen. We've been through enough of these storms. As you saw, they set up an entire triage area in their lobby. I know my wife, who works per diem in the Memorial system, was called in to relieve some of these doctors and nurses in the emergency room that have been working 72 hours straight, not knowing what has happened at their house, having very little contact with their own family. So they're trying to get some of the staffing, rotate some of the staffing out. But as far as power outages go, they have been perfect here in the Memorial system anyway.
And Jeff, for people at home who are listening about how crowded these hospitals are, especially the ER, what do you recommend in terms of going to those urgent care facilities? Is it best to sort of Google and find out the proximity of an urgent care facility to your home, or what do you recommend in terms of finding one in proximity to someone's house?
Well, of course, you can always use the internet, and these urgent care facilities are popping up all over the place. And obviously, if you have a major injury, you should go to your nearest emergency room. But like I said, here, what they're doing in that triage area in the front, they're asking your symptoms. There is a doctor they even have a doctor stationed in that triage area. So they have doctors in the back taking care of patients, but they have a doctor assessing patients in the lobby. And if the injuries are minor, again, they have an urgent care center across the street. Memorial told us that they also have a huge urgent care center in Pembroke Pines. You can use those urgent care centers if you have some minor injuries. Obviously, if you're taken here by ambulance, they're going to see you, and they triage everybody. Depending on the severity of your injury is how you will be seen, but there are likely people who have been sitting here for hours.
Yikes. And Jeff, we want to pass along, Nicholas Children's Hospital says their main campus outpatient services are fully operational effective tomorrow. So we know, of course, when you have sick children, nothing is more concerning. Jeff, as you learn more from the hospitals, let us know, and we'll check back shortly.
Well, the